I would have started by saying we're back, but you can only say that when you actually felt that you left. We just haven't left. We've been here since that final of the IPL 25 minutes ago. And here we are with the World Cup, the 9th World Cup. I'm telling you, I'm the most excited. Like, I don't mind. It's very comfortable for me. I sometimes make Joy sleep on the floor, but I'm very comfortable. It's a nice bed, couple of pillows. So I'm very happy being here. And I'm very happy that there's 365 days in a year and 465 days of cricket. Nobody happier than me. Well, the World Cup has already officially started a few hours ago. But I don't believe that because, as you know, I'm a believer in Hum Jahan Khade Hote Hain. Line wahin se shuru hoti hai. So hello and welcome to Cricbuzz Live. I'm Gaurav Kapur and I'm flagging off this World Cup now. Please welcome Dinesh Karthik and Joy Bhattacharjya who are here with me in the studio. Hello, how are you?
All very well and lovely to see the good man in our studios again.
Yeah, he was here with us in the final of the IPL a few days back, and then I believe you just went for a jog and here we are.
Errands to run.
Yeah, but the thing is, the errands he's talking about running, celebrated a birthday and retired. So just, you know, while I was taking a nap and eating an idli, these are the things you did. So belated happy birthday.
Thank you, GK.
And how does it feel after that letter bomb that you dropped on us yesterday?
A lot of relief, actually. I mean, it was always on the cards. It was just a matter of when I was going to do it. And I felt that on birthday, just to say thank you, it's been good. That was a good day to let go of the sport.
Nice, nice. I'll tell you what though, when last Sunday, Joy, he won't tell you, but last Sunday when I was talking to him, I said, have you officially retired? He says, no, I haven't, but I think they all retired me in the stadium. He says, they all gave me a farewell party. So, yeah, sometimes it happens. Sometimes possession you take, paperwork happens later. So I think that's what has happened here. All right, well, let's get to business on this one, right? Because it's double the teams of last time, effectively speaking. Right? We had 16 teams, but 12 played. Well, there was a bit of a pre-tournament, right? But there were 12 who were in the main draw, Joy. This time it's 20. So 12 to 20, your thoughts, 100 words or less, go.
So I think the last time 12 to 20, you're absolutely right. It was 16, but they were playing group matches before. And because the top teams were not playing, nobody ever considered that the start of the tournament.
Yeah.
So they have tried to expand it. But I'll tell you, the big thing about them is trying to penetrate the US market.
Right.
Okay? If you get it right, where did in America, okay, in 94, once they played a World Cup is when, you know, really football started building out there. Similarly, they think that, okay, cricket's done everywhere. It's, you know, the numbers in Asia are so big that they don't need to bother. The last frontier is America. And so everything they've done carefully, put this World Cup, there's an Olympic to follow. They really want to make cricket big out here. And therefore, for them, they want to make it as big a tournament as possible and play a substantial number of games in the US.
Yeah.
Because with US and West Indies both hosting, they want at least a substantial. So for them, it was important to get more teams in, more participation in, showing that T20 is a global sport, much more global than, say, ODI cricket, and then to have some games in the US. That's why they did it.
Okay, fair point. Absolutely fair. But then the idea and execution, for me, where it seems like a slip is, DK, that you're playing the game still for an Indian audience in mind. So you're playing them at 8 p.m., which means you're playing them at about 10 in the morning. You're playing 10 to 2 or whatever. That's not really a time that an audience can get excited about sport on a weekday.
I do think that 10 a.m. start is very weird for a T20 game. Though whenever it's happened, you got to understand two things. There are quite a few days where 4 matches happen on the same day at different points. So you also have evening games.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, this sport is primarily followed in India and other parts of Asia where the timing is accommodated accordingly. And that's where MLC as a tournament is actually not bothered to worry about the other audiences. They want to penetrate the market into America and say, we start at the time that we feel is best to get the crowds in.
Yeah.
Win the World Cup, because there are so many games and the fact that they have very little time, they've in many ways just consolidated the tournament and kept it as short and sweet as possible. Ideally, they want to finish it in 3 weeks, which is what they're trying. It's still about a month long. Generally, it's a 3-week tournament, but this is a month long. So they've tried their best. But when you want to accommodate various teams across time zones, and in America, there are various time zones in different parts. They're playing Dallas, they're playing New York, and then you get to the Caribbean for the Super 8 stage. I understand what ICC has done. Is it ideal? Probably not. But if you want to get the viewership in, which is what the broadcasters want, then an 8 a.m., 8 p.m. India start suits that.
Quick question as a player. I just want a follow-up question. the difference, because you've played, the COVID years where there was nobody there, the difference that a player feels when you've got like 30,000 people as opposed to kind of an empty stadium?
Very disarming for a start when you don't play with crowds. It took us some time when we played that IPL without any crowds. Very weird.
Yeah.
When you hit a shot, you feel like you're playing a domestic game. It very much feels like that. There's nobody around to clap, no sounds. At times you only hear some claps from the dressing room. It is very weird. And it is very hard for people who have played international cricket consistently. I really feel one of Virat Kohli's reasons for him not to have done as well as he generally does during that COVID phase is the fact that there was no crowd around. He's someone who completely gets enamored and pushed by crowds. And then the likes of Rohit, Hardik Pandya, you can keep naming big names from India and other parts of the country as well. But for Virat Kohli, I can say that it would have definitely played a massive part. Just playing to nobody, it would feel weird. It's one thing playing to a TV audience, which is great, but you don't hear them clapping for you.
Correct.
So, it's a very, as I said, a very different feeling to be playing in front of no one.
Such a good point.
It's an amazing point. I mean, Virat Kohli has been discussed to death. Okay? Discussed to death by 15 experts from all over the world. This one man walks into the studio, sits there for 2 minutes and gives us an insight which is stunning. It's absolutely stunning.
That's what happens when you share a dressing room. That's what. I'll tell you something though. West Indies, who had a host nation, they previously won this World Cup, they're playing to an empty stadium right now. Like there's visuals coming in from there, obviously, because it's early in the morning. It is a Sunday, but it's
a West Indies.
Yeah.
They don't get up that early. Look, I remember this happening when they were playing. When the last time the tournament was being held in the West Indies, exactly the same.
Yeah.
But the truth is, here's one thing I want to tell you. Everyone says BCCI they bullied them to get this timing. Nobody bullies anyone.
Yeah.
Because all the revenue is going to be shared by everyone. So they said, dude, make it the best timing for India, Pakistan, Bangladesh. Because that's where the market is, that's where the big money is coming from.
Fair.
And that's my point, that it's not something that a board can put on the ICC. It is ICC saying, look, we want to make more money, all of you will get a bigger share, this is the way we want to do it. That's how it works.
I agree with it. So that's why I'm saying that this is not an immersive kind of them getting into America. It's more like a toe dip, right? It's like, we'll come there, but we'll still play it to India time. I'll tell you what, I'm very happy about it because I don't know 6 a.m. games, man. Right? I ain't even going to New York and waking up at 7 a.m. for a cricket game. No, sorry, thank you. 8 p.m. works for GK very well. Thank you very much. All right. I'm sure that if I tell you to name the 20 teams, you'd probably struggle. So therefore, I've done the homework for you. There it is. These are the groups. So they're playing in 4 groups. The first one, that's India's group, has India. Oh, surprise, surprise, Pakistan, Ireland, Canada, and USA. Then there's Australia, England, Namibia, Oman, Scotland. There's New Zealand, West Indies, Afghanistan, Uganda, Papua New Guinea. They're playing today, of course, a Group C game, West Indies and Papua New Guinea. And then Group D has South Africa, Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, Netherlands, Nepal. I'll keep that screen on for just a second, and Joy will just walk us through where they go from here.
Exactly. So I think the next screen will tell you, see, there are 2 each who are going to qualify, but the way they go about it is slightly different from where you go about it. So what happens is, and this is primarily done so that as tourists or people following, you can buy tickets to follow a game if you know that this team is qualifying. So what happens is, if you go back to that screen, suppose India qualifies as, now say suppose India and Pakistan are 2 teams supposed to qualify.
Yeah.
Suppose now India does not qualify.
These are the seeds, by the way.
These are the seeds, yeah. So if India does not qualify, even if Pakistan qualifies in first place and say the US qualifies, okay, US will sit where India is now.
So they'll become A1.
They will become A1, Pakistan will remain the same. Similarly, Australia, even if Australia is first in the group, Australia will still sit there.
Yeah.
So what they're trying to do is ensuring that because there are so many venues all over the place.
And they're different countries. They require different visas.
Exactly. So they're making sure that anyone who comes in there, you know that, okay, this is a country. If your team qualifies, this is where you need to go to. So it's a very practical measure given the fact that you're playing this across 6-7 different Caribbean countries in the United States of America. And it had to be done. And it's got nothing to do with favoring one team or the other. It's just the way it has to be done to make sure the tournament is followed.
And these seedings have come from this cycle's performance in bilateral.
From the previous cycle. So what they're looking at is saying that, okay, England is the first team, India is the second team, previous cycle. So England, if you see, is 1 because they're the champions, the current champions. So they've broken it up on that basis that per seed, okay, A1 is the top in their group. Okay, so India's T20 performance is the highest in Group A. So that's why India is now seeded 1. Now, even if Pakistan wins, India remains A1. So the logic is good. There's one other very interesting thing they've done, which is that they have gone for head-to-head, okay, other than not run rate for qualifications.
Okay,
so
lovely.
And there's a logic to that. The logic is that what happens in tournaments like this, especially in the first stages, you're going to have some blowout matches. Okay,
a big gap between teams for inexperience.
Exactly. So Papua New Guinea versus the West Indies, one team might beat them by 100 runs, one team may beat them by 30. Now, if your tournament is long and you have the last match and you are also going to end up on same points with the other, your chance of smashing a team and making a target is much more. Okay, right. So that's why the head-to-head has been taken over run rate. And I think it's a very logical thing. If you remember, 2007 World Cup, India, when it played its last match, I think we got a 418 runs against Bermuda, yes, 418 runs because we were trying
This is the ODI World Cup.
ODI World Cup in 2007. And that's the logic. That basically what you do is that you make sure that run rate doesn't matter because small countries, then the draw will matter. Because if you're playing last against a small country, you can not manipulate, but you can really take charge of run rate. Whereas in IPL, where the teams are reasonably equal, that's not such a big danger.
That's a great point. I'll tell you what we'll do, right? I know that, with 20 teams playing, that this World Cup is going to be full of unknown commodities, people probably you haven't heard of before, maybe countries that you haven't heard of before, that you didn't know that they were playing cricket as well. But obviously, for the game of cricket to grow in the world, it's great that these countries are getting a chance, these players are getting a chance to play in the big stage. In fact, I think one of the Papua New Guinea players even said that we are just village cricketers who are playing on this big stage. Now, that's an England kind of term, which basically translated to subcontinent means we are Sunday cricketers, right? You come out on Sunday and you play, and they're getting the big stage. So I think that's fantastic. But what we'll do is, we're obviously not presuming that you would know all these names. It's very difficult for you to know these 80, 90 names as well. So we hope that some, of course, come up and really grab this big stage, grab the attention, grab the eyeballs, grab your imagination. And of course, we'll walk you through it. When Cricbuzz Live in English and in Hindi, we'll walk you through it these first few weeks when some of these more unknown teams are playing. We call them the underdogs. I don't want to call them minnows or associates or whatever. We'll just call them the underdogs, perhaps. We're not as much experience on the big stage, so we'll hold each other's hand and walk through it. All right. And in the interest of that, we have a this is upside down. We have a section called GK Checks Your GK. Jeez, those jeans are tight, man.
Ooh, I know. I like that.
Yeah.
That is a look.
Yeah. I want to have a chat with who's drawn this.
You need to have a chat.
Yeah, I just need to have a chat later. I don't know what's going on. Imaginary kapda to kam nahi padta. Okay, I have a few questions for you, for everyone. How many are there? Just 5-6 questions, all right. Who holds the record for the fastest 50 in T20I cricket? Now, this happened very recently.
A
Nepal player.
This is Dipendra Airi.
Well done, Dipendra Airi.
9 balls against Mongolia.
That's right, Nepal.
This was in that Asian Games?
Yeah.
Oh.
Nepal played Mongolia and he hit a 9-ball 50. He broke UV's record, right? It was UV's record.
World Cup record is UV's, yes. 14
the 6-6's
14
record that he broke. That was in 12 balls.
No, sorry, 12 ball 50.
That was in 12. Then the term Barramundi is associated with which underdog team?
This is Papua New Guinea, and barramundi is a fish, and it's a very popular fish. If you ever go to Australia, that's the one fish that they love to barbecue.
I see MasterChef, I know.
Barbecue, you know why? You see MasterChef.
Yeah. They make a lot of barramundi.
Barramundi.
Put some prawns on the barbie for you. Name the player who won the Under-19 World Cup for India in 2012, but is now representing another nation. Talbadlu?
Sarmeet Singh.
Yes, Sarmeet Singh. Perfect.
I saw him play for USA just now.
He was 2012, no? Which
2012 when
Unmukt.
yes, Unmukt Chand was captain, Aparjit Baba and all of them. Hanuma Vihari, all of these guys played.
Your boy Aparjit Baba, isn't he? Aparjit and Indrajit Baba.
Correct.
Oh, your boys from TN. Okay, this team was asked to undergo a change of original jersey before the T20 World Cup. Oh, that's easy. SRH. No, sorry, it's not. They should have though. Can you tell me something? When you were facing the SRH bowlers, I've been wanting to ask you this. You were facing the SRH bowlers. Did it become tougher because the shirt was jittery? It was like, what's going on?
I think they used that T-shirt in the SA20 and it proved lucky for them. And it proved lucky in IPL as well.
Lucky,
so
yeah.
It is good.
No luck. It was all Abhishek Sharma, my boy.
Uganda.
Okay.
Because it was basically ICC, the sponsor logos were not showing up. So
They had feathers on it.
Yeah. So
Right?
yeah.
I've got the answer here. This is a very easy quiz for me, by the way, because they've given the answers as well. I love these quizzes. It's the crowned crane is the national bird of Uganda. So they had the feathers. So they said, get rid of the feathered patterns because you can't see our sponsors because everything is about the sponsors. This bowling spearhead for his team worked at Uber Eats during the pandemic.
This time.
Yeah.
That Paul van Meekeren.
From Netherlands.
Yes.
That is
Half
correct.
bowler, yeah.
Yes. And was probably delivering on a cycle because Netherlands is just cycles.
Correct.
It's full of cycles. And it's great, man. I wish we could cycle here without threat to life and limb. All right. His father, mother, and brother have all represented their national cricket teams. Oh, Nepo baby. But only he has played the World Cup. Who is he?
So I will have to say this, Charles Amini, and it's still not complete.
Oh.
His grandfather, his father, his mother, his brother have all played for the country. It's not just father, his grandfather also. And they have
All cricket.
All cricket, and they have a stadium named after them. It's called the Amini Oval.
I mean, obviously, if they probably, have you checked? They probably own the board.
Sorry, Amini Park. Yeah.
They probably own the board in PNG.
No.
So, कौन आएगा? Masi, आप खेलोगे? आया. Yeah. But that's pretty cool. That's a very, jokes apart, very accomplished family, obviously. And Charles Amini, you're going to see in action today. Papua New Guinea playing the West Indies, of course. I think that's pretty cool. Wow, that's a cool stat. All right, last question. They've put 7. Dhoni fan? 7 questions. In his last first-class match in Pakistan, this bowler dismissed Babar Azam. This year, he will represent Canada. Name the player.
He's the left arm spinner.
I don't know this.
Nada, Mala,
Kali.
something. I forgot his name. He's a left arm spinner. He played just against USA now.
Kaleem Sana.
Kaleem Sana.
That's right.
You were close enough. Almost
Kaleem
there.
Sana. Those were pretty cool. There's some pretty cool trivia that was thrown up there. Uber Eats during the pandemic. I think the Amini family. I think that's a pretty cool.
It's an amazing family.
And hopefully you'll see a lot of him when PNG is playing, and maybe that's the name that you remember as it goes along. He, of course, is in the PNG team today. They're going to be batting first. West Indies won the toss, and they said that they will chase. So let's have a look. And we'll take you through these names. Here it is, Papua New Guinea. This is their 11. No impact sub, of course.
Yeah.
I know you guys are used to it. Tony Ura, Asad Walla, their captain. Sesi Bao, Legacy Yaka, Hiri Hiri, then Charles Amini, Kiplin Doriga, their wicketkeeper. Ale Nau, Chad Soper, Kabua Morea, and John Carrico. We know something about John Carrico.
Yep.
You were just telling me something. What were you telling me
He's a
about
left arm spinner with a nice action.
Okay. That's cool. That's
So
cool.
he
Watch out for
was
that.
apparently a fast bowler originally,
Yeah.
who turned to left arm spin later. He's the one guy who has played in the West Indies. He's just played an under-19 World Cup in the West Indies.
Oh.
So he's probably a little more familiar with conditions out there than the other guys.
Yeah. As is their coach.
Yeah. And of course, Tony Ura is a pretty decent. Who's their
Phil
current?
Simmons.
So wait, I think Phil Simmons is consultant, and I think their coach is Tatenda Taibu.
Oh, wow.
So Taibu is their coach. I think he's our friend from Zimbabwe. Amazing character. He was in KKR for a season, so I know all about him. So yeah, he's the coach, and I think they've got something together because Tony Ura also has done very well for them. So they play in this group called the East Asia Pacific Group.
Yeah.
Okay. And their closest rivals were basically Japan and the Philippines. So that's how they made it through.
They won 6 out of their 6 games in that league, which is why they've come on to this
And
World
pretty
Cup.
big wins, 100 runs.
Yeah,
and all.
they're a very good team and also all homegrown talent, which is something that is very unique and nice about them.
That's interesting because a lot of the other teams that we've heard less of have a lot of expat talent, right? They've got a lot of talent that has come from overseas, like we said, in Canada, in the USA, etc. So it's interesting that their talent is homegrown. Let's go to West Indies and then we'll come back and talk about Phil Simmons. This is the West Indies 11 that they're putting on the park. Jeez, this is some muscle, man. You watched their series against Sri Lanka. You know, some of these players were not there, but they are solid, right? Johnson Charles, I think the third T20 is when he was just so destructive. Brandon King, he's taken that opening spot. So obviously no Kyle Mayers here, right? He's not there. He was batting at 3 in that series. Nicholas Puran, Roston Chase, Rovman Powell, Andre Russell, Romario Shepherd, Sharfin Rutherford listed at 8. Akil Hussain can bat as well.
He can bat.
Alzari Joseph and Gudakesh Moti, the spinner.
So which means they've gone with one only fast bowler.
Yeah, and also the biggest choice would have been between Shea Hope and Roston Chase.
Yeah.
They had to decide which way to go. They chose Shea Hope, who's actually had a very good lead up to this World Cup for West Indies. Then Roston Chase, the off spinner, and the fact that he can bat in the middle and create a bit of chaos through that middle would have been missed. And that was the biggest decision. I think the rest of it kind of picks itself.
Yeah.
So I think the reason is, I think Charles Amini, Asadullah, 2 of their top bats, Tony Ura also, I think, there are a lot of left-handers in that top order. So I think Royston, that's the way Royston maybe have...
Yeah, also the thing with Roston Chase is that while he can, of course, hit big hits, but he's also the kind of guy who just holds things together. So pretty much like what do you expect from Shea Hope? He can even do that in case the big hitters...
Very correct. And Shea Hope is in good form, though. But what goes for Roston Chase is, in Guyana, it's a turning pitch. It's slow.
Yeah.
I think for some time now, the most number of wickets across the Caribbean, rather, have been spinners who have dominated the proceedings. In fact, through this World Cup cycle, the spinners have dominated international cricket when it comes to spinners. They've been very, very effective. And a lot of the teams have gone for finger spinners. If you do see this West Indies team, there's no wrist spinner.
Yeah.
It's 3 finger spinners, 2 left-arm spinners.
Yeah.
So, both their other fast bowlers, apart from Alzari Joseph, are all-rounders, Russell and Romario Shepherd.
Yeah.
And they're more well-versed to bowl in depth.
Yeah, there's not, like, if you look at it, there's the proper pace is only coming from Alzari Joseph, right? I mean, Andre Russell is good, he's effective, he's had a great IPL, picked up 19 wickets. Romario Shepherd as well, didn't bowl as much here. But I think you're right about the surface, DK, because that surface does take spin, which is why they have 3 of them.
Also, they have 4 spinners. Expect Akil...
4? Akil Hussain, Moti and Roston Chase.
Oh, yeah, you're right, sorry.
Yeah.
They also expect Akil Hussain to take the new ball then.
Yeah.
He does a lot in the Caribbean.
He
takes
bowls
the new balls
consistently with the new ball. He's been very, very, very good. Probably he's the best left-arm spinner in the power play. Across franchisee cricket and international cricket for some time now. He's been the best.
Yeah. I wanted to come to, of course, the name that we see over there, Nicholas Puran, their wicketkeeper, and how, obviously, West Indies have come through a tough phase, right? They have gone on the international stage. On the international stage, they've had, one World Cup was a no-show. Then, you had to play qualifiers, etc. So this, and growing up, I guess for all people of our vintage, all years here and there, it feels really strange to have a World Cup and not see the West Indies, right? Because we've come from a time where you saw Viv Richards dominate, even later Richie Richardson, Curtly Ambrose, Courtney Walsh. So I think that this is the West Indies that world cricket needs.
True. They play a very, very attractive brand of cricket. Very attacking. They have been the best team between over 16 and 20 across this cycle. Very, very powerful team. The one thing that T20 cricket literally runs on right now when it comes to batting is power. The reason why KKR won, just power through the innings up until 8, 9, and that's pretty much what West Indies have now. And as those stats say, they've been very dominating at home, beat England in a very close 5-match series, and they played some solid cricket. For me, I'd be very disappointed if they don't make it to the semi-final. I think they are a team that should definitely get there. They have a solid team, most bases covered. Only thing, their bowling is a little light, especially fast bowling. If they play on good pitches, they will be found out. But if they play on pitches which is either slow or ones that turn, West Indies have a very good chance.
Yeah, and it seems like that's what let's just say it up front, right? Because there's been a lot of discussion because we've just come out of an IPL with an impact sub with flat wickets. 200 plus seem to be like, par for the course. I don't think that this is what the World Cup will offer in terms of surfaces.
Definitely. And if you look at the semi-finals, I think they're Trinidad and Guyana. I mean, both of those conditions, the spin is going to take. This is going to be a 170, 180 kind of total World Cup. I don't see it. I don't know how much the US, because it's very difficult to say the pitches has just been dropped on. The 193 was scored easily. But once this tournament in the business end moves to the West Indies, you're not going to see IPL kind of totals, are you?
No. Unlike other parts of the world, the biggest challenge in playing in West Indies is the wind. you got to take the wind into consideration a lot when you play a shot, which side of the ground you want to hit. As a bowler, you try, in India, a lot of times in IPL, you try, when they play on the side pitches, one side of the boundary is lesser. In West Indies, it definitely becomes the wind. So you don't try and hit into the wind. You, as a bowler, you make them hit into the wind. So those are the biggest challenges. The pitches are not as consistent as you play on other parts of the world. It's slightly slow, it might be sticky. You got to understand, infrastructure is not their strength in the Caribbean.
Yeah.
So it's, I just hope for this World Cup it's much better, but consistently over a period of time, they have not been the best. And West Indies will pray to win as many tosses as possible, because when they bat second, they are unbelievably good.
Yeah, and the thing is that I don't think the dew is going to come into play a lot in this, because obviously if you're playing, in the morning and
Morning
in the
dew.
afternoon.
Morning,
because they're playing so early.
So then your first innings, the spinners might have a problem.
I mean, if they're awake to get to the game, because for IPL players, I think it's going to be very interesting to wake up at 7:30 and trudge to the stadium. Told you should have played the test team. They're used to waking up early. I did speak with Virat though. I said, well, now that you've got young kids, you're used to waking up early. But what about all the other youngsters? The bachelor boys, they're not used to waking up that early and playing. But yeah, I wanted to talk about Phil Simmons real quick. They've obviously got him as a consultant, knows a bit about winning the World Cup, because he was with the West Indies in 16, wasn't he, when they won the World Cup?
Yeah, he's been consistently there, and I think the last cycle after that, they crashed out and he's not been in favour after that.
Yeah.
But I think what he's there for is to give them basic tips, because the point is that you can't, this Papua New Guinea outfit is an outfit that plays through the year.
Yeah.
So all he's trying to do is just say, okay, this venue plays like this, play this bowler, play this spinner, play here. And I think he's going to give touches. He's not trying to coach, he's not trying to do this thing. He's just the local expert. And he plays that well, it's good for them.
I like it, the lay of the land. So obviously that kind of intel is obviously very... it's actually very valuable. But in terms of bringing in a consultant like that, or bringing in a short-term coach, have you found it to be effective with teams in the past?
It can be helpful. A lot of teams have benefited from it. If you do see the Australian team, they had Andy Flower as the consultant. The England team, which won the T20 World Cup last year, had Michael Hussey, who's a local there, as the assistant.
Yeah.
This time, England have gone for Kieran Pollard as their consultant. So they do bring in local knowledge. Like if you take an example, in this recently concluded 50-over World Cup, England chose to bat first in hot conditions,
in Mumbai,
bowl first in Mumbai,
which
was
South Africa, right?
Yes,
Klaassen's,
and they got smashed, and they were tired. By the time the innings finished, they were gone that game. And those kind of mistakes probably wouldn't happen if you had better local intel.
I'll give you a good example. Ajay Jadeja for Afghanistan.
Yeah.
What did he give them? Just, okay, play like this, relax, this is how to play on this pitch, chill. What he bought for them, and that's what they don't need to coach. They just a little nudge here, a touch here, bat here, bowl first here. Maybe this is the kind of total you should look for. Because those are very important things. If you're a local, Phil Simmons can take a look and say, look, I have played here. This is probably a 160 wicket. Don't go too hard early. You're going to lose a lot of it. That's all you need from this consultant. If he does that well, it's a huge difference to a team.
Fantastic. You know what I'm looking forward to in this World Cup? I'm looking forward to one of these teams that we haven't followed too much, we haven't seen so much on the big stage, just kind of break through. There's 4 groups. If we can get an upset, like in those seeds, like if you have one qualifying, not 1 and 2.
I think the beauty of World Cups is just that, upsets.
Yeah.
That's what makes the World Cup what it is. The rest of the tournaments are still okay. Even in Champions Trophy, you get 8 good teams. There are not too many upsets per se. But there will be a few upsets this World Cup. There for sure. And there are 2 tough groups there, Group C and Group D. Group C is the group of death, and that's going to be hard. Group D, again, there's going to be a couple of challenges, but I'm very confident there'll be a few upsets this tournament.
The group of death, New Zealand, West Indies, Afghanistan, Uganda, PNG. Yeah, it's good. And Group D has Netherlands, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, South Africa, and Nepal. Wow.
Don't count out Netherlands. They played brilliantly in Australia. They beat South Africa.
And they love playing South Africa.
Yeah. And,
Correct.
they're a good team.
It's a little naughty of them, right, to put South Africa and Netherlands in the same group again.
Yeah, they always.
It's like triggering South Africa. Trauma, Netherlands. All right, of course, PNG batting first. A player to watch out for, Tony Ura. Opening bat, very aggressive.
150 strike rate. You look at the rest of the strike rates in their cycle, and he's again, where DK was talking about power. He's the one player who has genuine power up front.
Yeah, if I did 416 runs at 150, I'd smile. But he's very serious. He's serious about his hitting. So yeah, looking forward to. So we'll just keep bringing up players like this who we feel are players to watch out for.
Yeah, and his favourites apparently are Peterson and
Andrew Simons.
Andrew Simons, yeah.
Oh,
So power, that's where it's coming from.
that's
He
right.
Straight the ball
I
out
love
of
it.
the ground.
It's that's right. It's going to be a tough World Cup to predict in terms of surfaces and in terms of the teams that are playing, in terms of the unknown commodities that are there, which is what will make it very exciting. I know that a lot of people are very overwhelmed. They're thinking, oh man, there's too many teams, there's too many players I don't know. I don't even know where they're playing. Is it America? Is it West Indies? But we're here with you. We'll walk you through it.
The other thing is that it'll be very difficult for the West Indians to make out what these gentlemen are speaking when they're exchanging notes, because they speak in the languages are English, and Tok Pisin is the other major language.
What's it called?
Tok Pisin, T-O-K, Pisin, which comes from Tok, T-A-L-K, Pidgin. So it's Pidgin language,
Pidgin.
which if you look at it, you can make out it's like English, but it's English in a very strange way.
It's spoken in some parts of Africa as well.
Yeah, Pidgin is spoken. Yeah, Pidgin is spoken in parts of the West Indies, but different Pidgin. So Pidgin is when English hits a local language and that mix.
Ah,
That's called Pidgin.
Love it. All right.
Pisin.
Along with the cricket, GK improves this too.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it? It's amazing. That's why we love sitting with the professor.
823 languages, more than India.
823
Papua New
languages.
Guinea has 823 different languages.
So one per person.
Not dialects, languages, like proper
One language per person, basically. So everybody speaks differently. I really want to know, though. PNG, I find it fascinating, right? They're playing on the big stage. We'll talk about that, of course, later, because the game is about to start, and we have to get to the most important piece of business.
Yes.
As you're aware, there's a guessing game that we play. In the first innings, we all try to guess what the score we feel would be, because there's no way you can predict it, right? Because we're sitting so far away, we can't really see what the conditions are. And even people who are there and see the conditions sometimes get it wrong. So we just guess what the score would be. In the second innings, we try to guess what the power play score would be. And then, of course, we have a chart. Whoever gets as many predictions right wins. I, of course, was leading the charts for pretty much most of the IPL season and then lost to Manoj Tiwari by 0.3% right on the last day of the IPL. I have sent the vote for a recount. It's still not come back yet, but as soon as it does, we'll let you.
Exit polls never predicted this.
That's right. On the 4th of June, we will have the result of we'll have the result of the recount that I have asked for. But yeah, this time we're changing the rule just a bit. What I guess, what you guess, it doesn't matter. Like, we're not going to squeeze each other. Whatever we guess, 10 runs left, 10 runs right, is ours. So there is no problem of anyone sitting in each other's laps.
Perfect. And it makes sense, because otherwise there's too much advantage the first guesser has, because he can set it exactly where he wants to sit.
Yeah.
And then others have to adjust around it.
I do make a lot of sense on some days. Once on weekdays and twice on Sundays. DK, will start with you since it was your birthday yesterday.
126.
Oh, yaar.
Tough picture.
थोड़ी तो मर्यादा रखिए. 126. आपका क्या है?
Somewhere there. I'm actually going to go even lower. I'm going to go 111.
Okay, I was going to go 146. Now you guys have me nervous. बनाएंगे यार. तो बनाएंगे. What are you saying? 111. 111.
126.
126. 146. So,
Okay.
oh no, we don't have a thing now.
You
so
don't
you
need
can be
to.
wherever.
You can sit wherever.
See, I've just gave you the rule and I forgot it myself. I just quickly went into defensive mode quickly.
You can
Shield
sit
up.
anywhere you want to, yeah.
Yeah. Great. So I'm going to change it. I'm going to change it to 137.
Okay.
That's it. 137. They'll get some runs. And now the part, you understood this part, now the part that you will never understand, which is the joy factor question.
Okay.
Go for it, sir.
Yep. Okay. So this is also about introducing some cricketers. Which cricketer made his T20 international debut against the UAE in Dubai in 2019 and played his most recent T20 international match against South Africa in May this year? So if you understand who South Africa has been playing in May, you will understand why there's a little trick to the question. So he's played in the UAE in Dubai, and then he's playing against South Africa here.
Oh, I was just thinking about what we're having for dinner. I didn't even try to, have you tried to decode the question? I couldn't figure it out.
Me too.
I just went UAE. I started thinking maybe we should get some kebabs. I don't know, that's what I said. South Africa. I thought, oh, barbecue maybe. So I was there. Yeah, but if you know the answer, send it to us. Hashtag Cricbuzz Live. Hashtag Joy Factor. We'll wait to hear from you. We, of course, will see you at the end of the 10th over on Cricbuzz Combox. No, we're not. Okay, cool. Just checking. Maybe all the rules have changed. So we'll see you. So that's the GK and DK show. We'll see you in the Combox at the end of the 10th over. Thank you so much for watching Cricbuzz Live. We'll see you in a bit.